Hi, this is New Time on Silkway TV channel. We introduce you with the most visible news and important events that happen throughout this week in Kazakhstan and Central Asia. More details on politics, economy, social and cultural life with opinions from the most recognizable experts of Kazakhstan and world. I'm Anuri Mangali and this is what you'll see today. Digitalization in the banking sphere. Kazakhstan will introduce digital currency by the end of 2025. Exclusive interview with the CEO of the National Payment Corporation, Binur Galenov. CSTO is a regional shield for enhancing security. What will be the future of the organization? One of the greatest masterpieces of Leonardo da Vinci is in Astana. How did it happen and what to expect in cultural exchange between Kazakhstan and Italy? Kazakhstan supports Palestine recognition based on the concept of the two-state solution. This idea was once again voiced by the President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev during the CSTO Parliamentary Assembly. The meeting was held this week in Almaty. Besides the Middle East crisis, participants discussed the issues of regional security and coordinated policy of CSTO state members on global arena. More details you will find in the following report.
Our meeting is taking place in conditions of unprecedented aggravation of international situation. With these words, President Tokayev began the CSTO Parliamentary Assembly in Almaty. Addressing the speakers of the participating countries, the head of state emphasized that the global conflict threat has reached an extremely dangerous level. The Middle East crisis is of particular concern. Here, Kazakhstan's position remains unchanged. The president again underlined that the only way to establish peace is to adopt two-state solution principle, which means creation of a Palestinian state with its capital in East Jerusalem.
Hundreds of people, including civilians, women and children, continue to die and be seriously injured every day in the Gaza Strip. More than 1 million people found themselves in a hopeless situation. Almost all major international organizations have called the humanitarian situation in Palestine unacceptable. In fact, it is almost catastrophic.
The participants of the CSTO Assembly also paid special attention to Afghanistan. President Tokayev explained that the decision to remove the Taliban from the list of terrorists was made so that countries in the region could maintain trade ties with Afghanistan. It's worth noting that the same opinion about the Taliban is shared by both the UN and the United States, which have never recognized the terrorist status of the current ruling regime in the country.
Kazakhstan вывел режим талибов из террористического.
Kazakhstan removed the Taliban regime from the terrorist list based on the importance of developing trade and economic cooperation with modern Afghanistan and our understanding that this regime is a long-term factor. I suggest to support Kazakhstan's initiative to create a UN regional center for sustainable development goals for Central Asia and Afghanistan in Almaty.
Moreover, Kazakhstan, as chairman of the CSTO, intends to strengthen interaction with international organizations and structures such as the SCO, the UN and the CIS. Particular emphasis is placed on economic cooperation. The head of state mentioned that in 2023, Kazakhstan attracted more than $23 billion of foreign investment.
Recently, I signed a decree that lays the foundation for economic liberalization by ensuring freedom of enterprise, developing competition, reducing government participation and reducing business costs. The protection of the rights and legitimate interests of business has been significantly strengthened.
At the end of the meeting, the head of state announced the several CSTO military exercises. These fall 2 training sessions are planned on the territory of Kazakhstan to improve military cooperation between the members of Collective Security Treaty Organization. Daurian Isagulov, New Time.
The role of the Collective Security Treaty Organization in strengthening regional security will only grow, according to Yerbulat Seylihanov, a political expert at the Kazakhstan Institute for Strategic Studies. He noted that Kazakhstan's chairmanship of the CSTO this year has shaped the organization's focus on addressing modern challenges such as combating international terrorism, drug trafficking and illegal migration. Moreover, one of Kazakhstan's priorities within the CSTO is to promote peaceful resolution of global conflicts.
These aspects, which define the security of the member states, are the motivation behind the interest of the CSTO countries in the activities of this organization. Kazakhstan pays special attention to organizing the coordinated efforts of our units and divisions involved within the CSTO framework for this purpose. In the exercises conducted by the Collective Security Treaty Organization, Kazakhstan takes an active part. As long as geopolitical turbulence persists in our world, participation in an organization that ensures regional security remains essential for Kazakhstan.
Meanwhile, the summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization will be held in Astana on July 3rd and 4th this year, according to the press service of Akorda. The heads of the SCO member states will discuss a wide range of current political, trade, economic and cultural humanitarian issues. Leaders of the observer countries and dialogue partners are also expected to participate in the forum. Additionally, United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres is expected to attend the summit. It is worth noting that early on May 21st, the president of Kazakhstan met with the foreign ministers of the SCO member states. The head of state expressed gratitude to the participating countries for their support of Kazakhstan's initiatives and productive cooperation. In the past 3 years, Kazakhstan's foreign trade has grown by 53%, reaching $160 billion, said President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev during a meeting with the Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. The meeting took place on the day of the president's working visit to Almaty. The head of state highlighted Kazakhstan's strong commitment to enhancing cooperation with the WTO.
Confident that under your able leadership, the international multilateral trading system would undergo a profound transformation to eliminate existing trade barriers and create a level playing field. Your visit to Almaty is extremely important, and taking this opportunity, I would like to express our appreciation for the interaction we used to have with you. It was a big honor to chair the 12th Ministerial Conference. WTO members were able to reach a decision to reform the organization.
As noted by the head of state, despite growing global protectionism and trade restrictions, Kazakhstan seeks to strengthen its position as a country with an open economy. Currently, Kazakhstan trades with 180 countries, said the president. 4 days of voting in European Union parliamentary elections across the 27 member states kicked off. An estimated 360 million eligible voters are called to elect the 720 members of the European Parliament for the next 5 years. New York Times reporter Balzhan Samigulina is now in Brussels, capital of the European Union. Balzhan, good evening. What do you have so far to report on?
Good evening, Ainur. Yes, the European Parliament's elections is right here. One of the world's largest democratic exercises is on the way. The importance of them stands for multiple reasons. The outcome of the vote is expected to influence who will be in charge of the European institutions in Brussels, including the Commission and the Council, determine the political course of the European Union over the next 5 years. The elections will also take the political temperature across EU countries and reflect the public stance on crucial issues such as climate change and the future of the European Green Deal, migration and the EU's role on the global stage. Now the Union accounts for 27 member states. The number of members elected in each country depends on the size of population. The unique feature of the EU is that although the member states all remain sovereign and independent states, they pool together some of their sovereignty, all in areas where this has an added value.
More than specific languages, I think that the common language, the common vision, to have a common way to answer big problems, that's really the way we can create an identity. So how we want to enter this future together, how do we speak about migration, how do we speak about the war, that makes us European in the way we can find together solutions that shouldn't be imposed, but should be solutions where we all engage, and then we find a common language that respects everyone's values and views and human dignity as well. These are all parts of it.
The European Parliament elections held over multiple days because despite being elections to an EU institution, they are still arranged and managed at national ballots by each of the EU's 27 member states. The Netherlands is the only one EU member state to start its single-day vote early. The voting officially kicked off first in the Netherlands this Thursday. Voter turnover has increased by 5% from 2019 to 2024, with 47% of Dutch people going to the polls. However, the traditional highest percentage is still expected to be witnessed in Belgium, as service show.
Are you going to vote at the elections for European Parliament?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Why do you think it's important?
Because I think it's important for my future and the future of Belgian people and European people.
Because I think it's important that every citizen who has a vote expresses this, because it's our right. And I'm going to vote because I want to make my voice heard.
First, in Belgium, it's mandatory, but not for the European election, of course. Why is it important? Because it's future.
Somer de Versterby, Managing Director at European Neighbourhood Council, predicts a rightward shift in many EU countries, with far-right parties across the continent on course for historic gains. The European Parliament, as he notes, will swing to the centre-right, and some parts of the far-right will moderate themselves and join the centre. However, the relations of European Union with Central Asia have been institutionalized and deeply strategized, and no changes in US policy can be anticipated.
The relations with Central Asia have been institutionalized and deeply strategized by brilliant minds like HRVP EU Foreign Minister Josep Borrell. That will not change with the new Commission, but for parliamentarians it's of course important that new members are well informed, advised and provided as much support by partners and member states as possible. Fortunately, the business communities of the EU understand the importance of Europe multi-corridor strategy, and in that strategy the Trans-Caspian corridor is very important, and so are EU-Central Asia relations.
The vote comes at a pivotal moment for the EU, which will depend on the whole world either. Experts expect that the nature of politics at a European level can call for a lot of changes over the course of a 5-year period. Results will start to come in late on Sunday. That's it for the second day of European Parliament elections. Ainur, giving back floor to you.
Thanks a lot. That was our reporter Baljan Samigulina from Brussels, Belgium. And let's move on. Relations of Kazakhstan and the European Union will develop consistently no matter of how the European Parliament election will result, said Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Kazakhstan, Roman Vasilenko, exclusively to the New Time. Notably, Kazakhstan and the EU recently celebrated 32 years of diplomatic relations. Currently, European Union is Kazakhstan's largest trading partner, accounting for 30% of the country's trade, as well as the largest investor in Kazakhstan.
I should say that the foundation of our relations is so strong and so basic and so well defined that there is no reasons whatsoever to expect that there will be anything else but closer and more respectful and more mutually beneficial cooperation going forward. Well, of course, there could be nuances, but I think the geopolitical situation conditions Kazakhstan and the EU to move ever closer towards each other, to work ever closer with each other. And I think that this is what is going to happen no matter what officials come.
Let's move on. 562 million people worldwide own various forms of digital currencies. The fintech company AAA shared the data. This accounts for 6.8% of the global population. Central banks of various countries have also joined the race. Around 130 countries are actively researching, developing or testing CBDCs, and the initial results already show the enormous potential of this technology. But how do these digital currencies differ from the electronic money and cryptocurrencies we are familiar with? How will this impact the global financial system? All the answers in the New Times Special Explainer section.
In 1694, the Bank of England became the first public bank to issue banknotes as an alternative to coins on a regular basis. It was a huge and innovative step that helped banks all around the world to maintain financial stability of countries. Today, modern banks are about to make another step forward with a new concept, a form of money we cannot see – central bank digital currencies. Look at this map. In 2024, approximately 130 countries are actively researching, developing or piloting central bank digital currencies, or CBDC. This includes major economies like China, the United States and European Union. In full operational mode, 4 countries have already launched their digital currencies: the Bahamas, Nigeria, Zimbabwe and Jamaica. The idea of digital money is not new. Every day we use debit cards, payment apps and even cryptocurrency. But what would make a central bank digital currency different?
At the dawn of the creation of cryptocurrencies, it was evident that governments would eventually pay attention and not let it operate unchecked. Cryptocurrencies represent a form of anarcho-capitalism where everyone has their own money and there is no central control. While cryptocurrencies are decentralized, CBDCs are similar, but with one key difference: they are issued and controlled by the state. The central bank on behalf of the state oversees the entire infrastructure and verification process, ensuring that no one else can create this digital currency.
Many central banks are worried that the widespread adoption of these independent cryptocurrencies could weaken the control over the financial system. In other words, expert says, banks see the threat of hidden money and decide, if you cannot beat them, you should join them. For example, China is one of the front-runners of the CBDC race with digital yuan. Pilot testing in China now reaches 260 million people and covers 200 scenarios from e-commerce to government stimulus payments. According to the People's Bank of China, the volume of digital yuan in circulation at the end of 2022 was 13 billion yuan, which is approximately $2 billion.
С технической точки зрения, это эволюция денег.
From a technical standpoint, this represents an evolution of money. Internet access is not required to use it. Many people across the globe don't have access to the financial system, even in an advanced economy. CBDC would help to integrate all the people to the financial systems.
Unlike your savings in a commercial bank, which depend on the bank's ability to meet its obligations, CBDCs are legally recognized and backed by the authority of the central bank, ensuring they cannot go bankrupt.
Даже с безналичной формой денег у вас есть большая проблема, потому что...
Even with the cashless forms of money, there is a significant problem, because you can only trace transactions to a certain depth, usually up to 20 transactions. However, with digital money, you can track the entire chain of movement of a specific currency unit.
As we're going forward to become a more cashless society, will central bank digital currencies ever become as trusted and convenient as other types of money? Experts believe that by 2030, fully functional CBDCs will be available on all of our devices. But before that, all the countries need to address the issues of privacy of users and all the information, the appropriate technology that will carry that digital currency, and the legislation. Daurian Sagulov, New Time.
Meanwhile, fully operational and complete version of Digital Tenge will be available at the end of 2025, said Binur Zhalenov, the CEO of the National Payment Corporation of Kazakhstan. In an interview to the New Time reporter, he confirmed that the project of the first digital currency issued by the National Bank of Kazakhstan is now undergoing its second phase of testing regime. According to Mr. Zhalenov, Digital Tenge might become an important tool to ensure the transparency and effectiveness of government spending and the financial system of the state. How exactly will it work? Please follow the fragment of the interview for the answers.
Binur, thank you very much for joining us. So, please tell us what is going on with Digital Tenge right now. What are the latest updates on this project?
Hi, welcome to the National Payment Corporation. It's a pleasure to have you here. Last year we launched the first phase of digital tenge platform implementation. This year we're scaling the functionality, focusing on several use cases, which include use of digital tenge in public procurement to increase transparency of government spending, some use cases with digital assets, and obviously cases with cross-border payments in national digital currencies.
When can we expect the full launch of the digital tenge?
Yeah, so we made a decision to issue and implement digital tenge by the approval of the President Tokayev in the end of 2022. So we decided to make phased introduction of digital tenge. Namely, we already had the first phase launched last year. This year is the second phase, and we expect the full implementation by the end of 2025. So by the end of 2025, we hope to have digital tenge in a full operating mode.
Could you please explain for our viewers one more time, what is the digital tenge in simple words?
Sure. Digital tenge is so-called central bank digital currency. At the moment, we have two forms of money, two forms of traditional tenge, cash and cashless or electronic money. Cash money is backed by the central bank. It means that every banknote or coin that you have is backed by the government, and everyone is approving these coins and banknotes as the means of payment. And you also have an electronic money, which is in your mobile phones, in banking applications, but this electronic money is issued by particular second-tier bank. So it's backed by the second-tier bank. So now digital tenge is a combination of two, because it's available in a digital format, but it's backed by central bank, by the National Bank of Kazakhstan. And because we implemented digital tenge in a form of a token, namely, we used distributed ledger technology, blockchain, to enable digital tenge. It has its own properties. Two properties that are different from other types of money. First, you can spend digital tenge offline. In a very simple words, you can download digital tenge on your smartphone, and then even if you don't have internet connection and the merchant doesn't have internet connection, you still can do a transaction in a cashless manner. The second and probably the most important is programmability. So you can program digital tenge so that it can be spent under certain rules and triggers. And this specific property can enable different use cases. For example, targeted use of digital tenge in public procurement. Imagine Akimat or other government entity is procuring services for construction of the school. So then we can issue specific digital tenge, special purpose digital tenge, so that it can be spent only for goods and services to construct the school effectively. And also there might be a lot of other use cases. For example, imagine you are a parent, you have a child, you give some pocket money to your child, and you don't want your child to spend the money for cigarettes or alcohol. So you can sort of program these pocket digital tenge for specific type of goods and services.
In some countries, the digital currency is being used for quite time. For example, in China, they launched the digital yuan in 2022. Did you rely on international experience?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Starting from the very beginning of the project, we engaged very deep with international financial organizations such as International Monetary Fund, Bank of International Settlement, World Economic Forum, and of course we have a very I think warm relationships, bilateral relationships with a number of the central banks. Central Bank of UAE, Swedish Riksbank, Central Bank of European Union, People Bank of China. And so we tried to gather all of the different international perspectives on central bank digital currency and adapt them to the realities of Kazakhstan.
In one of your interviews, you mentioned that uncontrolled digitalization poses threat to banking competition. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, now, these days, banks are becoming more than banks. It's so-called digital ecosystems, because through your mobile banking application, you can have access to electronic commerce services, to government services, to different kind of services. And as any other digital platform business model, the entire concept is built on the idea of network effects. Network effects occur when, for example, you becoming the user of one bank, and you being the user of one bank increases the value of this bank to other users. And for example, Facebook's functionality can be easily copied. So anyone can create the social network at the moment. But no one can compete with Facebook because it already has a number of users, right? So it has a critical network effects. And at the moment, several participants of financial industry has already gained a critical mass of network effects, critical number of users, so it's very hard to compete with them. And because of digitalizations, these negative externalities of network effects are being deteriorate competition more. So it is important to sort of establish a certain set of rules and a level playing field so that in this digital economy there still will be a chance to smaller players to enter the market, to compete with incumbents, so that we as users and consumers can enjoy the better services.
The good news for all art lovers. The original painting The Beautiful Princess by the renowned Italian artist Leonardo da Vinci has been displayed at the National Museum in Astana, representing a unique event in the world of high art in Kazakhstan. Notably, the only work by the high Renaissance master on parchment was presented in the Kazakh capital for the first time. It is known that the masterpiece is part of a private collection. Previously, it was exhibited only a few times. According to experts, certain conditions are required for its storage and transportation. The greatest Leonardo's work will be displayed at the National Museum in Astana until August 4th this year. The event, as was said in an exclusive interview to The New Time by Italian ambassador Marco Alberti, is the result of a successful cultural diplomacy and strong relations between Kazakhstan and Italy. Please tell us more details about today's event. It's a very important event in the world of art. The Leonardo's, the famous Leonardo's, the great Leonardo's work will be presented as a head of state. How you made it even possible? How did you make it happen?
This has been a great year for Italy-Kazakhstan relations. We wanted something special, and this is something special. It's a great exhibition, unique, that we made possible thanks, to the cooperation between the Italian Embassy, the Italian Cultural Institute, but also private sponsors like Forte and MasterCard and the museum itself. Scripta Manient is the curator, and this is one of the most enigmatic artwork by Leonardo. It's a beautiful princess, Bianca Sforza, and we wanted, this artwork here in Kazakhstan, only in Kazakhstan for Central Asia, in order to promote the concept that cultural relations are the very basis for strengthening dialogue between people and government. And this is an expression, and I think that is going to be a great success also in terms of visitors.
Taking into account this very important event, can we anticipate the next developments in our cultural exchange between our countries?
Yes, absolutely. We strongly believe that culture is really a basis for relations, and so we will have a list of initiatives from now to December. Let me say that the next big event will be in Astana, very big event in Astana dedicated to Puccini. It's going to be lyric. This year we celebrate 100th anniversary of Puccini's death, so we wanted to dedicate this big lyric concert to Puccini in Kazakhstan, December 5 at the Astana Opera. Again, a great cooperation between Italy and Kazakhstan, between public and private institutions, with Kazakh sponsors as well.
And now let me tell you the story of a young singer from Portugal, Laura Aleixo, who amazes her audience with singing in Kazakh. She even came to Astana to perform some of the most popular in the country songs together with Kazakh artists. Laura Aleixo says that she finds very interesting for herself to study Kazakh culture and particularly music. We are joined by Laura from Portugal today. Hello, Laura. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello. Hello, thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Yes, tell me please more about your first acquaintance with Kazakh music, with Kazakh art and culture. How did it happen?
So it happened because I heard a great singer. His name is Dimash Kudaibergen. I was on YouTube and Dimash was there and I heard he was in the contest, the singer in China singing all by myself. And I was wondering how a man could sing like this, so perfect. And I searched about him and I saw he was from Kazakhstan. And then my story happened.
So that was an entrance point to, to getting to know the country and its culture and its music. Yes, we have a little fragment of your performance here in Kazakhstan, so let us watch it a little bit, and then we continue. So this video, as I know, gains a lot of, viewership. I think almost 2 million of views in different parts of the world. It's very touching, very tender. So now you sing the songs in Kazakh, and I'm wondering, was it and is it still hard for you to learn the lyrics, to master this ability, to master the skills to sing in Kazakh?
To be honest, it continued to be a little bit difficult for me because of the pronunciation. It's very different from Portuguese and from all the languages like Spanish, French we have in Europe. It's a little bit difficult, but it's not harder than when I started, so that's good.
So what does it amaze you the most about the Kazakh language, about singing in Kazakh? Is it any differences, natural differences, if to compare to other foreign languages for you?
Yeah, there's a difference, but I think the language is beautiful because of the differences, and I know you have a lot of poets in Kazakhstan. This is beautiful. All the songs are beautiful because of this.
Yes. So how do you explain maybe to your friends, to people from Portugal, your fascination about the Kazakh music, Kazakh culture, about Kazakhstan in general?
They are always asking how I start singing in Kazakh language. Always. This is amazing. So I explained the same. I love Kazakh language. I love Kazakh culture. I've been in Kazakhstan, and I explain how amazing is the language and how amazing are the singers. Music for me is everything, and the songs and the singers have beautiful skills.
Mm-hmm. Right, and let me ask you about a little bit about your future plans. Are you fascinated? Are you excited about doing your career in music? Maybe you're looking forward for some collaborations with Kazakh artists. Why not? Right?
Maybe, yes, for sure. I am planning to continue all the work in music, and I'm planning to go to Kazakhstan this year again.
Great.
And I'm planning to make some collaborations with Kazakh singers, yes.
Oh, great. That must be very exciting. So Thank you very much, Lara, for sharing your time with us, and we wish you all the best in all your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rahmet.
And let me remind you that right now we were joined by Lara Leixo, a singer from Portugal who performs in Kazakh alongside her mother tongue. And that's it for today. All the main news about Kazakhstan and Central Asia you can find here. More special projects about our country you can also watch on Silk Red TV channel. So stay tuned and see you next week. Bye-bye.